Welcome, everybody. That was good timing, huh?
Yeah, good job.
Right, welcome everybody to Labs Talk. Actually not Labs Talk, it's another Labs chat, right? Our chat in between the Labs Talk episodes, I would say.
Yes.
How are you doing, Erica?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty good also. I feel like in this Zen moment, actually, during the lockdown, actually, I got used to it. All cool. We can continue. Yeah, so last show was pretty cool with Moti from Zippin. We discussed frictionless shopping, and I still remember that was the first time we actually have done some kind of live demo in their live demo store, which was pretty cool, I must say.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to the chance to actually getting to try this out in a real store, whenever that opportunity arises.
Yeah, I think so far they're mainly US, UK, right? But maybe there's hope that this will come to us, to Germany at some point, right? And also to the rest of the world, of course. Pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So we have not really lots of news to discuss this week, right?
I know. It's been pretty busy, and one of the reasons why is because for the SAPIO Foundries, we have our upcoming kickoff. So it's been very busy getting everything in order for our virtual event, where we'll be presenting the 13 startups that are a part of our Sustainable Future cohort, along with the Foundry Berlin and our partner Accenture.
Yeah, it's very cool. So it's the event is Thursday this week, right? So that's 5:30 in our German time, basically. Yes. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing that, actually. Lots of cool startups that you will see. And I believe that some of these startups would also probably make it into some future episodes of Labs Talk, because some of them are actually definitely related to CX too. And so, yeah, so stay tuned, I guess say.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And we'll make sure to post the link in everywhere that you're watching this, so you can find out more.
Absolutely. So the only thing that's kind of still spinning a bit in my head, actually, from the last chat, to be honest with you, is this non-fungible token thing. That's the only thing I just quickly wanted to mention with you. I mean, I still find it super weird and strange, but it got even crazier, I believe, right? So non-fungible tokens, essentially tokens that you can kind of interchange. They typically relate to a piece of art that was digitally created, and you can buy it for a lot of money, typically with some Ether or Bitcoin, for example, and then you own that digital piece, basically, that digital token.
Yeah.
And it's just continuing to go crazy, actually, right? Marketplace.
Yeah, we managed to catch it. Yeah, we managed to catch it like right at the beginning of this craze. So I had only just heard about it maybe 2 days or so before our last chat, and I had the privilege of introducing you to the topic. And since then, I've seen it everywhere. All over the news about whether or not this is really a good type of investment, and and some of the topics that we discussed, the debates rather, about whether it's good for artists, whether it's good for the environment. But yeah, I'd be really interested to hear / read what our viewers out there think about the topic since we brought it up. I mean, for one, I've even seen more local artists starting to do projects and initiatives and sell assets like in this way. Like one of my favorites, who's like shirt I'm wearing right now, and I hadn't really thought about it in the sense that it would be something accessible for normal people. So let's see how that develops. Maybe we'll be talking about NFTs as far as normal everyday investments, the same way that we're talking about it Bitcoin.
What I just find super interesting about NFTs, and I just kind of realized that, I'm not sure if it makes total sense, so someone maybe can let us know in the comments or so, but no, so far crypto was all about, it was kind of gambling more or less, and also to some degree an investment, of course, for people. But it was mainly about money, right? And the money is interchangeable. You don't care which Bitcoin you have, of course, right? It doesn't matter. I can send you one, you can send me one back. I don't care if it's not the same, basically, right? But with NFTs, it's of course all about having this one token that's tied to one piece of art, for example, and that opens up the world of collectors' items, basically, right? And on OpenSea, of course, and other marketplaces, you see that people are trading these cards, for example, or art, for example. And I think that basically now it's like the gold rush that's coming to collecting items now, basically, with crypto, more or less, right? So either it's just the next way to make more money for these platforms, basically, or for whoever, basically, right, who already owns some crypto, maybe, or it really persists. We'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, but I'm really excited about what we have upcoming for our next Labs Talk interview.
Absolutely. So the topic is telepresence. We found it's a super timely topic, of course, because as you know, we are all in this lovely pandemic here, right? At least here in Germany, we're still in lockdown. I know some other places of the world, they're opening again, but that also means lots of people, or some people, are actually returning to the offices, right? And very soon we'll have this hybrid workforce, more or less, right? Some people are in the office, some people will stay at home. And how do we include the people who want to maybe potentially want to stay at home, for example, right? Yeah. And this is the topic of telepresence. And so we found two interesting people to talk to. First one, Luisa, right? A futurista from Milan in Italy. And then also Tim Schuster, he's the CEO of Humanizing Technologies. And they're basically selling everything all around robotics, basically. So we're going to discuss with them.
I'm looking forward to exploring basically the difference of telepresence as a concept versus video conferencing, which is what most people associate with that term. And essentially what we're doing right now as we're doing this live stream, and what most people are doing when it comes to work or socializing. And telepresence is essentially taking that experience to the next level. And what are the different ways in which we can try to replicate being physically in a space as best as possible with like digital means. So we've already kind of done a bit of research on what those formats look like. Some with robotics, and different devices, and I'm really looking forward to getting more information about just what all are people already using, what's kind of on the horizon, and what can we look forward to that's kind of really far out in ways of making the remote experience as much as being in person as possible.
Yeah, and it's definitely a trend. So I read on the internet, but I can prove it, that the whole telepresence market, so companies like Double Robotics, for example, are really being hyped these days. Stock is going up. These robots are actually selling. So there must be something to it, I would say, right? So there must be something to having a little robot on two wheels that's kind of balancing and has a microphone and a video camera, basically, and a screen that's driving around and more or less, behaves or moves as a real person, basically, and comes to your desk, more or less, compared to just having a video conference that we're having right now. So there must something that is really special about that, and there are so many application fields. I mean, of course, it works in the office, but I also heard a lot of stories around using these robots, for example, in an educational setting, right? So at schools, for example, for disabled kids, for example, or of course, kids who cannot come to the school now because of the pandemic, or who choose, or whose parents choose not to have them come to school because they might be at risk, for example. So they can stay home while the rest of the kids are at class, for example. And it must have benefits over just having a pure normal video conference, right?
Yeah, and I think that just as you noted, as things are starting to open up, or at least are trying to, what will the application things like sporting events or conferences or concerts, and yeah, how can we help to drive this and already try out certain things at home. Really looking forward to that.
And that brings me a bit back to an episode we've done in the audio only world a while back, actually, with Roboy, right? And Roboy is a robotics project at the TU Munich, and originally I think it was found somewhere in Switzerland and then taken to Munich now. And they are super researchy. We'll definitely link to that for the next show then. They are a bit way out, I would say. They really also deal with like, how do you make sure you can feel something or maybe smell something and not just seeing and hearing, basically, right? So it's also quite interesting. It's related to that, so we can touch on that a bit too. So we have some experience in the telepresence field already, and let's expand on that, I would say. Very cool. And that's coming in 2 weeks. So now I think we're ready for the last thing, right? Are we?
I think so too.
Yes. So what's your last thing that you did outside before the major lockdowns? So first define for us, what does major lockdowns mean?
Well, in my view, and I'm sure you agree, this means when everybody had to stay home for an extended amount of time, and we couldn't meet anybody for a while, and all the stores were closed except for the grocery stores, and very essential businesses. And even as things started to open up and regress kind of back and forth, majorly we still have a lot of restrictions on how many people we can meet with, what places we can go, etc. So for me, right before the major lockdowns, I had a picnic. So met up with some friends, celebrated a birthday, and it sticks in my mind because it was already close enough to the period where we were all pretty nervous about how many other people there were around us in this huge park. And I think everybody was really trying to get in that last experience before they couldn't. So how about you, Sven?
Find amazing, right? So that's the last time you met multiple people in real life.
Exactly.
Right? So for enjoying, basically, right? Not just for, I don't know, going to the shopping or so, right?
Post office doesn't count.
So the last thing I did outside before the major lockdowns was most likely a family visit to the amusement park. Actually, I think it was Bayern Park. The park was open, but we had to wear a mask already. I remember that. And that is really a fun situation when you're in one of these roller coasters with a mask. I swear to you that this probably after the pandemic is over, they will tell us this just so didn't make sense. Because I mean, you have like 100 kilometers on a roller coaster, lots of air passing by. The chance of probably getting some aerosol is very little, I would say, outside in a roller coaster, but we had to wear a mask. So it was an interesting situation and lots of fun, and I'm really looking forward to being in an amusement park this year too. So time will come.
Yeah, I
cool.
think so too.
All right, cool. Then thank you so much. Let us know in the comments if you have any cool ideas also for future episodes. If you have any comments about this chat, basically, about the past episodes, of course, just let us know. Thank you so much. And then see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.